So welcome to the bonus call for the Discover Your True Self and Create Your True Self, excuse me, course and academy. My goodness. Pardon, Mum. And Letitia and Linda, excellent. We're all jumping on. So while we're all jumping on, today is going to be an exceptional call. It's going to be, hi, lovely lady. Today is going to be packed full of information and stories. Today is designed to open your mind and your thinking to how your physical body can support your mental, emotional, and purpose. I'm going to give you lots of tips and tricks. I'm going to give you lots of stories. I'm going to give you lots of personal insight. And that's my dad and my mum to what I do in my home. And I'm going to just share some insights and some vision with you about some really simple things that you can do for longevity, to support your family, to support your friends. I'm going to give you a system that I'm going to show you a system that I use to do that. And today's going to be packed full of information. So I want you guys to be really active, to jump on and talk to me, ask questions, stop me. There's a number of people that are interested in weight loss, so I'm going to talk about how and we're lucky because this lady, Stacey Nicole Rogers, is one of my primary school friends, and she's a bodybuilder. So we're really lucky to have a health professional on board like her as well. So Stacey, jump in and please offer your insights as well. But I'm going to be going through your body systems, things that you probably haven't been educated on, about how you can get it working to an optimum level really, really easily. How what you put in, on, and around your body affects your thinking and your brain. How, especially for older women, it affects your ability to lose weight that you've been carrying that you're struggling to get rid of. And I'm going to give you some really cool basic tips and tricks that you can share with your tribe, that you can use with your family. It's going to be pretty casual, but like always, to get started, I need to play you at least the start of a song that is very near and dear to my heart. Now, this is sang by a fella called John Butler, Stacey and Jody and that. Look, Jody, he's an American fella. He actually lives down the road from me about 40 minutes. And whenever I head into Fremantle, I get magnetic attraction. I am always running into him and his children down the streets, and he's got like these mad dreads, and he doesn't wear any shoes, and he's a very reasonable, questioning human being. And I just want to play you because as you guys are, especially the Sexy Brand Building Formula members, and Leah, as you guys are coming into your power and you're starting to create a life that you truly deserve, you often start seeing things a little bit differently. You question different systems, you question different structures, different labels. So the start of this song, I just want you to listen to it, and then I'm just going to simply read you some of the lyrics, and I'm going to ask you what I mean by that. I'm such a teacher, Anna. I'm such a teacher. I love this song. If you guys had jumped on 5 minutes earlier, Indiana was on this chair where I was watching the song popping along. Like, that was cool. All right, so this song is Used to Get High. There is a swearing warning in it, okay? But that's okay because I swear. I'm just going to play that for a start now. I used to get high for a living, believing everything that I saw on the TV. I used to get high for a living, eating all the bullshit food that they sold me. I used to get high for a living, thinking that my destiny was out of my control. I used to get high for a living, there's lots of different reasons in the deal each store. The bars launched by Big Mac, the one man, big book. We need to see anything on it, because we're all on caffeine, cigarettes, alcohol, you know I'm calling out the wall, trying to get my fix. Prozac, ADD, tablets, spokesman, you know I'm turning to for a living, believing everything that's all on my TV. I used to get high for a living, eating all the bullshit food they sold me. Yeah, that is on me.
all trying to get away from this place where I'm out from feeling. Can't feel what we're all trying to do. All the same was stealing. No doubt around you all can't find the God that you were needing. You and my friend, you must contend with the monster that you're feeding. I used to get high for a living, believing everything that I saw on the TV. I used to get high for a living, eating all the bullshit food that they sold me. I used to get high for a living, thinking of a good leave out of my control. I used to get high for a living, still a reason to tell you so.
All right, we'll leave it at that for the minute. I tossed this up and I was like, am I going to play this at the start of this call or am I going to play it at the end? Because it's really hard hitting when you get into it. And I'm like, no, I'm going straight into it. So if you couldn't hear it properly, and I want you just to open your mind and think about how this relates to your life. I'm going to read you what the chorus is and then I'm going to read you 2 verses, okay? So dear John Butler, okay, talks about, I used to get high for a living, meaning happy, believing everything that I saw on the TV. Now, as we go, this is going to make so much sense. I used to get high for a living, eating all the bullshit food that it sold me. I used to get high for a living, thinking that my destiny was out of my control. I used to get high for a living. There's lots of different reasons, and I'll tell you so. Then he goes on, supersize, large fries, Big Mac, Coca-Cola, go on, man, pick your poison. Speed, weed, ecstasy, LSD, man, it doesn't bother me because we're all on something. Caffeine, cigarettes, alcohol, you know, I'm crawling up the wall trying to get my fix. Prozac, ADD tablets, Coke, smack, now you know that I ain't turning tricks. That's such an American term, I like it, so funny because he's white with dreads. Now, this is about our physical body. When it comes to our emotional and our purpose, no doubt the route you're on can't find the clout that you've been needing. So as you guys are coming into an awakening, the route that you were on wasn't satisfying you, okay? You can't deal, you can't feel what's real, all the while trying to conceal all this time that we're stealing. Okay, so he's talking about living his plan B, stealing time from himself, doing something that he doesn't truly want to do, that he's been told a system and living his 9 to 5 and whatever else like that. I used to get high for a living thinking my destiny was out of my control. No doubt the route you're on, oh sorry, where am I? Escape, can't wait, all trying to get away from this place, man, that we're feeling. Where are we? Till then, my friend, you must contend with the monster that you're dealing. You must contend with the monster that you're dealing and feeding. Okay, so just can I have any thoughts on that or anything that hit hard or any way that you see that it contends with your physical life or your emotional life or something where you're like, oh my goodness, and then we're going to get right into it.
Me. So when you were reading the lyrics out about that the Big Mac and fries, and then it went to LSD, and it doesn't matter to me. Did you say something like that?
Yeah, where are we? It doesn't bother me because we're all on something.
Yeah, so what I first thought of was actually in the Bible, it talks about people who are drunkards or blasphemers, or men sleeping with men. It talks about them not inheriting God's kingdom. And so I first thought of that we always put things in like an order of like badness. So like eating fries compared to taking LSD, well, eating fries is better than taking LSD kind of thing. Like we put it in a ranking. Whereas that scripture in the Bible, it says that it's all the same. So being a drunkard and a liar or a blasphemer, like it's all on the same level. Mm-hmm. So really it's all, so everything that we do that's like bad for us is just all on the same level. And we probably shouldn't be looking at other people going, well, they're taking drugs and I'm just eating cake. Like, it's all on the same level. It's all our poison, like he says in the song. It's the same poison.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am going to open, and that is perfect, Jody. I am going to open your mind today to the poisons that you are unknowingly putting into your bodies, to the poisons that are hidden in our everyday food and our everyday products that is being advertised to us that we just do not know about. And I'm going to look at them in two forms. I'm going to talk to you about chemicals, okay, chemicals and preservatives and additives. And I'm also going to talk to you about sugar, all right? Because as far as I'm concerned, sugar, white sugar, is the easiest, most accessible, and the most deadliest toxin to the human race.
And addictive.
And addictive. It is so, it is as addictive as speed. I'm going to get in, I'm going to talk to us about the effect that it has on our kids. If you guys follow up with this, because there's going to be a lot of information today, so I can break a whole heap of it down, but yes, absolutely. And we are being sold these things and unknowingly and mindlessly putting these things in, on, and around our bodies and our kids' bodies every single day. And when we become more reasoning, when we wake up and when we actually, I'm going to show you some things today because I'm a big believer in when you see something you cannot unsee, that is where you start breaking outside of your box and realizing what's going on. Yeah. Does anyone else have anything they want to talk about? Yep.
Yeah. At the end, you said you've got to deal with the monster that you're feeding. Is that like the story I told with Which Wolf Wins?
Yes. I love that story. Yeah, go for it. Tell everyone. That's a great story. Tell that story.
Oh, so the story. Yeah, the story was basically a man told a boy that. God, what was it? Oh, okay. So we all have a wolf fight going on inside of us, and which wolf wins is basically one wolf is good, it is happy, it is everything that's good about us, everything that makes us happy. The other wolf is jealousy, anger, everything that's bad. And there's a constant battle going on inside of all of us. And basically the story ends with which wolf wins. And the boy asks, which wolf wins? And the old man says, the wolf that you feed. Yeah. So that's basically what it is. So whichever one you feed is the one that's going to take over. So
yeah, so powerful, so powerful. And that can be in living your plan A, living your plan B, doing what Letitia and Leah and Joni, well, what everyone here is doing. Come here, Bub, she just took a fall. Yeah. You can feed the negative self if you want to. You can feed the positive self if you want to. And when I talk about feeding them as well, I'm talking about with what you surround yourself with, the energy, the people, the values. I'm also talking about the nutrition and the food that you put in your body. Right now, I'm going to tell a few stories that are near and dear to my heart. We're going to go through and I'm going to start with some stories. I'm going to then talk to you about gut health. I'm going to get some specifics in weight loss for those of you that are trying to lose weight. And then I'll be like, if you want follow up on the exercise, go to Stacey because that's her stuff. I'll rid your body of the chemicals, then get to stack up, right? Stacey, just so you know, is on my goal board, that's how I want to look. It's Stacey at one of her bodybuilding competitions. I'm going to talk about sugar and the toxicity of sugar. I could go on about this forever and how this comes about, and I'm also going to I'm going to look at cancer and different things like that as well, okay? And different ailments, and you guys will start connecting the dots. So currently in this world, we've got more doctors, more nurses, more health professionals than we have ever had, right? Than we've ever had. But people are getting sicker. There's more people sick now than there ever was. There's more conditions that we can't identify where they are or what they've come from. So we put a name on them and we try and put a band-aid over the symptoms rather than fixing the root cause. I truly believe, excuse me, I'm just going to open this door for you. There you go. Everyone's asking what the problem is. Everyone is asking, why is everyone getting sicker? What is happening? I truly believe, because if you look through the history, and I actually think that a lot of this started with the invention of the motor vehicle, if you look through the history of food and mass production and the way that things started being produced for shelf life, the product shelf life, rather than our shelf life, for convenience, that the issue and the reason that people are getting sicker is because of what we put in, on, and around our bodies. In, on, and around our bodies. Now, I've got a really personal story to tell about this that I will in a second, and my mum can probably vouch for this one, but I come from quite a very small farming community. Now, the old people, the people like my pa, they're all living until their 80s and their 90s. Okay, they're all living into their 80s and their 90s. They're not sick. They're not dying of cancer. They're not dying of these diseases, because what used to happen was that they used to grow all of their food organically and naturally. My pa says that when he was a wheat farmer, and he said, Abby, he won't eat bread now, and he's a wheat farmer, okay, and he said, Abby, when we were farming before the 70s, okay, and they used to talk about this in Woodstock, before we started spraying our crops, because what they used to do, they used to move them from crop to crop so that it can get the nutrients. It used to take a lot longer of a time to grow, okay? And he said when we used to use that old system, he said the wheat used to be twice my height, and you could run through it and you could hide in it, and it would take 5 or 6 months to grow. He said now we spray it with all this stuff, and my pa being my pa's like, I don't know what's in that stuff. He said, but it only takes 3 or 4 months to grow, and it's only up to here, and it even looks different and it tastes different. And he says, if that's what it's doing to my crops, then what's it doing when it goes into me? What's it doing in me? So the chemicals are shifting the structure of crops, and I can tell you so many stories, all right, and I will, but we can talk about this individually. Now, in that small community, I'm sick and tired of seeing this stuff, and my mum will vouch for this. I'm sick of my mum's friends dying, right? This is the next generation coming through. These are people my mum's age, and my mum's not 60 yet. She's a beautiful lady. There she is. Look at her. My mum's friends and family are all dying. My friends' parents are dying. And a lot of them are dying from these rare forms of cancer. And they're all calling it a coincidence. Isn't it a coincidence that everyone in this community around this generation that live on the same farming stretch have got this same very rare form of cancer? Now, I think when you start opening your mind and you start thinking outside of your box, because Mum's generation as well was taught not to question, okay, not to speak up and not to think outside of the box. You don't rock the boat, so therefore it's a coincidence. We're now coming through and asking more questions as to why this is happening. If you ask me what the problem is, if you ask me why this is happening, I'll be really honest, I'm going to make a big claim here. This is the generation that started in the 70s and the 80s spraying their crops with herbicides and pesticides.
Okay, I need you to put all this away. All
okay, this is where okay, and all of a sudden, this generation that started you're right, babe, that started putting these chemicals on their crops, and they're around it each and every day, are getting sick. And I'm sick of it. Right, I'm sick of it. These people aren't even old. These people are my mum's age. Now, my mum is not old. Okay, she's not old. And people are saying, oh my God, it's a coincidence. How about we become more questioning, more reasoning, more thinking? Now, when it comes to seeing things you cannot unsee, and I'm going to give you guys some homework, right? I'm going to give you guys some homework, because especially when you have kids and you care about what you put in their bodies, you care about what you put on their bodies, and we often look to things like, oh, we just won't give them processed food, we just won't do this, we just won't do that, right? I had a beautiful lady, her name is Therese Kerr, and I know some of you have heard this story before, so bear with me, who is Miranda Kerr, the actress's mum. on the phone to me one day, and she was talking about different chemicals that we put in products, and they are in everything. Now, I'm going to go back to the development of the motor vehicle here, because before the motor vehicle, fuel was plants, wasn't it? To get around to transport ourselves, we used to ride horses and camels, yeah? And the only fuel we needed is what the earth provided. All of a sudden, the motor vehicle came and we were extracting the fuel from the earth to create petrol, diesel fuel to put in our cars. Now, the byproduct of of horses and camels was what? It was poo, wasn't it? So they'd poo, and then that'd go back into the earth, and it would create more fuel for our transportation. With the motor vehicle, we all of a sudden had petroleum in that byproduct, because you get byproduct from fossil fuels to make petroleum. Now, as mass production came in and these global economies, people try and make money off their byproducts, don't they? Any company that you know, whether, you know, people that do apple juice will sell the skids of the apples to farmers to, you know, you try and make as much money as you can. I'm not even going to get into it, but there's like, okay, there's a byproduct. So tree pulp goes into things like coconut milk and bread, and it comes out as this sludgy, which is then sold to companies to create glue. So it's all about making as much money as they can about lining the product. So when their byproduct came from the fuel of the car, it left us with petroleum, didn't it? And petroleum comes in the form of things. It goes in Vicks, it's in KY jelly. Butter is one molecule. I mean, margarine is one molecule away from being petroleum plastic. Okay, so all these companies that are producing these mass products for whatever, and a lot of the byproducts, a lot of that byproduct goes into our food product. It goes in as preservatives to increase the shelf life. It goes in as colours and different things like this. So I think this is where it's all started. Now, when I became a mum, was very adamant that I would, now this was the next level of my awakening, and this is where I want you guys to start looking, okay? And then I'm going to get into gut health and weight loss. I was really adamant that what I put in my kids in on and around their bodies was natural, right? That it was chemical free, it was derived from nature. So of course I went to the supermarket and I was buying everything that said derived from nature, chemical free, you know, blah, 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 this, that, and the other, right? And I said this to Therese Kerr. She said, Abby, you've got to be really careful about what you put in on and around your kids' skin, because as a mum, we pass on any chemicals that we store in our system into our babies, right? Our skin it absorbs up to 60% of what we put on it. Now, our sensitive areas, so our neck, our mouth, under our arms, our genitals, behind our knees will absorb up to 100%. Who here wears perfume with fragrance, not essential oils, but perfume, or deodorants with fragrance in them? Where do you put your deodorants? Right? Where do you put your fragrance, your perfumes? Okay. So that word fragrance means up to 4,000 undisclosed chemicals. So if you've got something in your products and it's got the word fragrance or parfum in it, that translates to up to 4,000 undisclosed chemicals. Now, the reason why it's undisclosed is because it's licensed so that no one can recreate that fragrance. If I'm Britney Spears and I've created a fragrance, I don't want anyone to copy that. So they don't have to disclose the ingredients. I'm going to, in a second, tell you some different types of chemicals found in your fragrance, okay? So we put our fragrance here. We put our deodorants here. Up to 4,000 undisclosed chemicals on a sensitive area of our skin that we absorb up to 100%. It goes into your bloodstream and it actually can change your DNA. So you're passing this on to your children. Now, how many women do you know, and I know this might be touchy for some people, but I just want to get you thinking, have autoimmune diseases? How many women do you know have thyroid problems? Okay, I think, there's up to 20, I think there's up to 20% of women over 40 in Australia that suffer from thyroid issues alone. Where are we putting our fragrances? There's a lot of women now and men that have autoimmune. We're putting fragrance under our arms, straight into our bloodstream, onto our lymph nodes, a second form of attack against disease. So the first thing I say to people is remove fragrance from your home. My baby wipes, I used to have baby wipes. I didn't realize they were derived from nature. They had fragrance in them. Where do we put our baby wipes? Straight onto our children's genitals, right? And if you're like me, I used to dust everything with them because they're the best dusters ever. And then your kids come and touch and right?
And when they have a mess on their mouths or something, so because sometimes the paper towels are too, they get the redness under their nose. So I use the baby wipes to like wipe off their snot. And, oh my gosh, Abby!
I know. So today was going to be hard hitting, right? So I literally just use a cotton cloth and water, and if I need to, some organic coconut, tiny drops of coconut oil. If I'm going out, I put that in a container and I take that with me.
I'm glad you mentioned this, Abby, because I have 4 kids, and when I had my first son 10 years ago, they had wipes for us in the room and like all types of stuff. And now I've noticed after I had Valora 8 months ago, they have just the paper towel, but it's nice and folded, and they tell us to use the water.
Yep. And
they don't give us wipes no more, and a bunch of other stuff that I used to have. And I was wondering why. I was like, oh, they're being cheap over here. But now that you said that, I was like, oh, that's probably why.
Yeah, that's why. So my kids and my family, that's it. Anything with fragrance in it. The other thing, that's exactly why. It's because people don't know. I actually think it's criminal, right? And wait till I get into, so the kind of chemicals that you can find in not only in your food, but in your skincare products, in your children's products, in your cleaning products. Now, my mum, I'm going to get to my mum in a second, worked with bleach for 30 years. Bleach has been banned in Germany for 9 years because it is that detrimental to our health. And I'm going to tell you a story about that in a second. So my daughter, Ayla, used to suffer these horrible nappy rashes, and I mean raised, red. It was awful, right? It was awful to have to wipe her bottom and her vagina down. It was just horrendous. When I started scanning these chemicals, and I'll tell you the story that changed my world in a minute, but when I started scanning these chemicals, I came up over a chemical called sodium benzoate. This is also found in your fizzy canned drinks, okay? It's also found in Letitia, I'm going to get you to throw your bleach out. These chemical in fizzy canned drinks, sodium benzoate. Now, sodium benzoate's been linked to cancer. It's been linked to ADHD. It's been linked to depression, and we're going to talk about chemicals and your brain and your thoughts later on. Okay, and skin irritation. I all of a sudden started removing that from all of our baby products and the rest of the chemicals. The doctors were prescribing me with different nappy rash creams and all sorts of things that had other chemicals in it. Okay, so once again, masking the system. But once those chemicals are in your system, it upsets your gut, and I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. All right, all I did was I got rid of all the things that I was prescribed. I got rid of all the chemicals in our products, and she no longer suffers this nappy rash. Now, back to talking to Therese Kerr, because I believed that everything that was written on the labels was true. Now, in Australia, for something to have organic on it, unless it's certified, which is different, for something to have organic in a chemist, like a pharmacy, a drugstore, I think you guys call it, or a supermarket, now American and Australian laws are very, very similar. It only has to have one ingredient that's organic for them to have the word organic written on it. So, for example, there is a cleaner, and I've got a box of stuff in there that I'm going to grab in a second and show you, that is being sold on the supermarket shelves for $4.75, and it says organic, and mums are running out after that going, I am making the right decision for my family and my children. The only ingredient that is organic in that is the essential oils. It is less than 1%. It also has sodium benzoate in it, and if you go down the bottom, because these chemicals are usually found down the bottom or in the middle, it's got fragrance in it. Yet it's got the word organic in it. It even looks organic. Okay, so it's you must be very aware of the labeling. So there is and I'll tell you in a second, there is a app called Chemical Maze, and I have just uploaded that to the Academy so that you guys can see that you can download on your phone. I use it every day. All you do, and I won't go through the video because today's going to be long, but you just watch the video after this. You just punch the numbers, because everything's got a number, or you've got to try and understand 7,298 letters of the alphabet and know what that chemical is, right? Yeah, exactly. You just put that in. You can do it for baby products, for skincare, for food. It will come up with an angry face, a neutral face, or a happy face. It will tell you where that chemical is derived from. And it will tell you how it affects you. So you can make an informed choice. I'm a bit of a person where I'm like, you know what, I don't give a shit what they put in my products, so long as they tell me what's in there so that I can make an informed decision. Right? I do think we have our labeling around the wrong way. I do think that all these companies having to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get organic and certified shouldn't have to spend that. It should be the people that are mass producing products, you know, for convenience, like the home brands and stuff, that should be like, this product can give you cancer in 30 years. You know, like, why don't they have to pay to put that sort of stuff on it? Why do people have to pay to say that this product is okay? So this particular day, I was talking to Therese. Pardon?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So if something says essential oil supplement, is that good or bad? Because I brought this product and they said that I can ingest it, but I haven't, because I'm like, I never heard of ingesting essential oils. Is that bad for you?
So different essential oils are a good thing, but some essential oils can be really potent in certain levels. So chemicals are found anywhere, right? You find chemicals in bananas, in apples. Arsenic can be derived from an apple, right? But arsenic's arsenic. So if it says supplement, this is where you need to be informed, and I would actually go and find out what that supplement is. Because that could be a chemical, that could be, I would go and find out what that supplement is. When it says supplement, that to me is very blurred. And you know, we supplement psychologically are a good thing because it's gym health supplements. Yeah, so this is why I'm saying people are getting really tricky and really fancy, and it's not okay. So I would actually go to that website or call them and find out what that supplement is, and then do your research on it. Because it's exactly the same. I got, and this story will hit you really hard, Letitia, because, you know, we try and make the best decisions for our children. That's probably an essential oil that you might use on your children or yourself, and then you've got Valora on you, you know, your skincare and your fragrance, and then we're putting our babies on us. I had, you know, Ayla's hair, Beetlejuice curly hair. So I used to get this derived from nature natural coconut oil detangling spray for her to cut her hair out. And it had natural, derived from nature, all of those words on it. So I trusted that, right? Therese Kerr gave me this app called Chemical Maze, and I started to run the chemicals through it. I was putting this on my daughter's scalp. 100%, very sensitive area of your body, onto her scalp, right? Not to mention what I was putting on their genitals before I found out. And in their bath, okay? The first few chemicals I found that I ran through, the very first one was a neurotoxicity, meaning it attacks the brain. The second chemical was an immunotoxicity, meaning it attacks the auto part of your autoimmune system. Now, these are the types of chemicals that are found in fragrance, in your food. Yep. The third chemical I found was a carcinogen. The fourth chemical that I found was an endocrine disruptor. An endocrine disruptor, meaning it attacks our reproductive system. Now, if you want the statistics in Australia at the moment for fertility and that sort of stuff, at the moment, in my generation, 1 in 7 women are considered infertile. And of that remaining 6%, up to 60% of women have fertility issues. There is research coming out now that suggests in young men in Western communities, there's actually a really fantastic, if you want to watch it, documentary called The Disappearing Sperm. And it says that up to 80% of sperm in men is mutated. So and actually, I think it's between 40 or 60% the sperm count is actually diminished. And of that remaining 80%, up to 80% is mutated from the chemicals that have been passed down and the mutated DNA from our parents ingesting chemicals, it being passed on to us continuing to ingest chemicals. It's a really great documentary, okay? So this is just, as I said, take it or leave it. This is just the research that I have been doing. But I think that it's just, if you do anything after today, take away fragrance and use that app to run the chemicals to make the most informed decision for yourself. For yourself. Okay, so that was the moment I wound up on my bathroom floor. My partner came home. I had all of our bathroom products in a box, and I was in a fetal position, crying, sobbing, saying, I'm making our kids sick, I'm making our kids sick. And he's like, are you drunk? Have you been around at my sister's smoking weed? Like, because I was inconsolable because I thought that I was making all the right decisions. My sister, Letitia, her little fella suffered from eczema. Like, shocking eczema, all the rest of it. She went to the doctor and the doctor suggested for her to put him in a bleach bath. And I think it was 12 litres of bleach, mum, to 12 litres of bleach to 12 litres of water to 10 ml of bleach or something. Like, she got the process. Now you go to any naturopath or and they will tell you Germany has banned bleach, right? It's banned bleach because it's that detrimental to our gut health. In Australia, the blue M&M, that blue colouring is banned in European countries because of the impact that it has on our gut and our brain. What does Australia do? They put like a nationwide competition out to find the blue M&M. Okay. I know. I'm like, oh, for God's sake. Okay, and then if you start questioning about why this happens and the money that it creates and so on and so forth, but it's just a really interesting insight to look into that. Now, I'm just going to get my box. Okay, I'm just going to get my box. Hang on. I need to show you.
This is really good. I buy bleach. You guys have a Costco or BJ's by you. I buy bleach by the cases. So it's like, that's all I grew up using. You used to have to wipe the walls down with the bleach.
My mum had been working with bleach for 30 years. My mum did a detox, which I'm going to talk to you about, just to rid the chemicals from her system, because she was a farmer's daughter, number one, and a farmer's wife. So chemicals everywhere. And then she ran her own accommodation business and she was working with bleach. So we put her through a system to rid all the toxins from her body to reboot her gut, which is what I'm going to talk to you about how you can actually reboot your gut and how chemicals impact your gut and how it can help you to lose weight. I'm going to talk to you about a chemical called an obesogen, ladies. Once I tell you this, your whole world, you'll be like, oh my freaking God, are you serious? And the first, Mum, 6 or 7 days of that detox, you really struggled, didn't you? You really
just only emotionally though, it was obviously something going on in the body. So, but only for the first 3 or 4 days. After that, it got pretty easy. But I'm like you, Letitia, that's all I used was bleach. We're in hospitality and I wanted clean rooms. They told me that, you could eat off my floors, they were so clean, but yeah, I'm glad they didn't.
Because I grew up knowing that that's the only thing that disinfects. So, literally, I wipe my walls down with it, every other day. So. Yeah,
I did too, and got the beautiful soap scum and the bubbles, and took I use a different cleaner now off the Inner Origin platform, and I think I'm a clean queen, and I haven't looked back.
Yeah.
And same with perfume. I used to love perfume.
It's like a walking perfume shop.
Yeah. And we were in Western Australia a few weeks ago, and I had this bottle of Chanel perfume, and I thought, I can't waste it. It's so expensive. and I took it with me to the West, and I used it for 2 days, and I got quite sick. So that proved to me that, yeah, I just can't use it. So what it does to you. So probably for my generation, it's harder to accept, but you guys, it'll be a lot easier. You'll be able to adapt a lot easier. But, you know, 12 months ago to my health to what it is now is no comparison. So took me a while to get my head around it, and I got pretty cross with Abby at times. But, but anyway, it's been a journey, but well worth it. And our eating and our cleaning has just, with Charlie and I, has changed. When I go shopping now in the supermarkets, I just normally go around the outside. You only need paper towel and stuff and fruit and veg. So, you know, you don't have to go up the other aisles.
Yeah. I need to find out what's the alternative.
I can tell you what an alternative is. We've got a system that I use here in Australia, Letitia. It is coming to America, but it's not quite there. But I can talk to you about the different products for you that you can source.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and the first thing is get rid of fragrance and your cleaning products. If you can change your cleaning, because that's everywhere, right? So I will absolutely, I'll tell you what to look for, and I'll even I've got friends in America that will be able to tell you different products and where to source them. So
awesome.
Yeah. So as an example of these different things, and when I talk to Indiana, sorry, she's playing with my light. When I talk to you about these things, and I'm just going to show you how you can use the chemical maze to your advantage. I just want you to think about what could potentially be in your products. I don't want you to get too scared, and I don't want you to go and go, oh my God, I've got to change everything in my life. How do you eat an elephant? Bite by bite, bit by bit. You just change things out as you can, as you become educated. No worries, Mum. Mum, her internet's dropped out. So I'm talking to a message. All right, so I'm just going to show you some examples of some sneaky labeling, okay? And then I'm going to get into your gut, the chemicals in your gut. I'm going to get into how that interferes with you putting on weight, how it interferes with your emotions, with your productivity, with everything. And then we'll talk a little bit about sugar. So this is that product at the moment, and I'm doing this privately because I'm a bit funny about showing products on my page for obvious reasons. So this is why I'm doing this privately. This is probably a good thing that couldn't be streamed. So this is a new product that's come into Australia at the moment. It's my organic choice. Okay, I'm not sure who it's actually owned by. I can't remember. I did all my stuff on it like years and years ago. So this looks good, doesn't it? It looks organic, apart from the plastic packaging. You know, it looks organic. It says organic here in this great big writing, right? Deodorizer and cleaner, naturally antibacterial, which it is naturally antibacterial because it's got some aloe in there. It's got some organic vanilla oil. That is the only, less than 1%, the only organic ingredient in this product is the organic vanilla oil. You go down the bottom, the very last thing here says it's fragrance. So this is the one where I'm saying it's cheap. People are running out, buying this, thinking they're doing the right thing, and they're putting up to 4,000 chemicals in on and around their home. See, fragrance is like just a smell that is manufactured cheaply and synthetically somewhere in a lab with shitloads of chemicals. That's what fragrance is. This is why I say use essential oils. I make them for my friends. You can get lava bead or diffuser jewelry, and you put your essential oils on that jewelry, on the wood or the lava beads, and the smell will last for 3 or 4 days. It's divine. And people like me that have removed chemicals from their life, I can't actually stand smell fragrance, or it smells really metally to me, and it makes me quite nauseous. This is another product in Australia that people run around, and this might be really interesting. Remember that whole almond milk, don't use milk, use almond milk, right? Just so you know, I know a farmer, a robotic farmer, dairy farmer, and on his milking teats, he has to put, by government standards, chemical cleaner on the teats after each time it hits so you're getting the chemical cleaner in your milk. All right, so everyone run around, they're like, almond this is what I did for my dad, right? Because my dad's got macular degeneration, so his doctor was like, go get almond milk, go get almond milk. So this is the one that he chose, right? Because it's 98% fat-free here. It says all natural, and they're not lying. It is all natural. So here's some clever, right? You turn it to the side. Are you ready for the ingredients? All natural. Filtered water, raw sugar, okay, that's why it's fat-free. It still tastes sweet, but they put a whole heap of sugar in it. And I can do, if 4 grams of sugar is one teaspoon. So if you want to do the conversion for sugar, 4 grams is 1 teaspoon. All right, so let's just look here. So per 200 mils, there's 200, so there's 2 teaspoons of sugar in every cup, every 250 mils. I don't know what that converts to for you, okay? So this is where it gets really clever. Ground whole almonds, 2%. Now for almond milk to be beneficial for you, it needs to be 25% almonds. Make your own. Get some almonds, activate them by soaking them in filtered water overnight, and then you just use, say, 1 part almonds to 4 parts water. Put it in a blender, there's your almond milk. Done. 2%. So if you put this in a cup like this, that's about 4 almonds or less for almond milk, okay? Doesn't stop there. Calcium carbonate in brackets, because it's white, right? If I open this and poured this, this would be white. Now the white doesn't come from the almonds because there's not enough frickin' almonds in there to make it white. Calcium carbonate in brackets, ground limestone. Now Jody, you're from the limestone coast, so you know what that is. Letitia, you know the white stuff that lines people's pipes? That's what ground limestone is. So if it's doing that to people's pipes, what the hell is it doing to our freaking inside? I know, right? Then it goes on and it's got this word carrageenan, right? Now carrageenan is prohibited in food for infants in Australia. So if I'm a breastfeeding mum and I drink this thinking I'm doing the right thing, that goes through my breast milk into my baby. It's a thickener. It's also found in things like coconut milk. So if I go and make myself a curry and then I eat that, I'm putting carrageenan in my system if I'm then breastfeeding. Hello, Heinz. Hello, Heinz baby food from 6 months. Fruit juice, carrageenan, and vitamin C. Here is my Chemical Maze app for carrageenan. It's got a not very happy face there. I'm just going to read to you what it says so that you can understand how this app works. So I've just got that chemical in there. May be contaminated with polygenin. It is a recognised carcinogen. So it's a recognised cancer-causing agent. Recognised. May contain MSG or free glutamic acid. Risk level, best avoided. Functions, a gelling agent, a stabiliser, a thickener. Potential effects. Degraded carrageenan and polygenin may be a cause of gastrointestinal cancer. Inadvisable to use carrageenan in infant formulas. But if women are breastfeeding and they don't realise that they are ingesting this and it's going into their breast milk, so this is why it's so important to watch your labels. May be linked to inflammatory bowel disease. People sensitive to MSG may wish to avoid. Effects on the body, gastrointestinal system and liver. Symptoms and ailments, gastrointestinal ailments. So this is how that chemical maze works. Okay, you can run whatever you want through there. Now, I for months was like, as I said, why has my daughter got these horrible rashes? So I was going, and then I found this chemical in all of her products, sodium benzoate. I don't even read this anymore. If it's got a red face, I put it back. I'm one of these crazy people that walk through the supermarket aisles, putting things into my phone and putting them back.
Which app is that?
Pardon?
Which app is that? Is that an app?
It's called Chemical Maze.
Chemical Maze?
Chemical Maze, yep. I have a video on it on the Academy, and I can send you anything that you want, Dale. So this is often found in baby care moisturizers, it's in coat products, it's in a lot of nappy wipes. Potential effects: asthma, FIN and HACSG recommended to avoid. I don't know what that is. Headaches, hyperactivity, may damage DNA in cells. People sensitive to aspirin may wish to avoid. Prohibited in food for infants. Skin irritation, stomach upset. Derived from petroleum. So it's a byproduct of petrol that's then put into our food, okay, as a preservative. So as I said, a lot of these byproducts are put in our food to increase the shelf life of the food, not our shelf life. And while we're talking about that, a number of months ago I was talking to a funeral director who said that they don't have to embalm people for viewings like they used to because people are so full of preservatives that their bodies don't naturally break down the way that they used to. Okay. I'm not out to scare the shit out of you. I'm just saying use that app and just be informed. Okay, just be informed. Just make an informed decision. Do what's best for you. Make an informed decision. Okay.
About to make me clean out my whole cabinet. Like my kitchen about to be empty.
Bit by bit, bite by bite. How do you eat an elephant? I know, because when you start looking around, you get really overwhelmed. So start with your cleaning products and your fragrance. Just start there. They're the two easiest things to go through, and I'll talk to you about cleaning products in a second. So it's just about being informed. Hi, Davina. I didn't see you pop up. Can I please send the link for the app? Yes, I can, my dear. Yes, I can. Yep, Jody, Vinica, bicarb sober. Our nanas used to use lemon vinegar and bicarb soda for freaking everything. See, I'm a bit of an extremist. I'm even funny about my lemons now. There's a product in Australia called Roundup, which is produced en masse by Monsanto, which is one of the biggest GMO producing companies in the world. And at the moment, Monsanto are in the courts fighting the labeling laws because they're wanting GMO to be put on GMO products. Monsanto tell us that GMO, genetically modified products, are safe, but they're spending billions of dollars trying to fight the laws to get GMO, to keep GMO off the labeling. So my thinking, I'm like, well, if it's safe, why do you give a shit? Do you know what I mean? If it's safe, why are you trying to fight it? And Roundup, which is, it's a herbicide, it's a pesticide. You can't wash it off a plant once it's sprayed on. It must be absorbed and then ingested. So she's singing. So I'm like, lemons. I get them from there's a little lady down the road that I've got a whole big vegetable garden. I'm like butcher, baker, candlestick maker. So if I've got too many tomatoes, I like get on my community system and I'm like, I've got so many tomatoes. Can I swap them for some lemons or some figs or some homegrown stuff, please? Really funny. Anyway, so there we go. So there we have it. So I'm going to move on from that now that I've scared the shit out of you, which was not my intention. I just want you to have the tools to make an informed choice. Like I said, for me, I don't care what they put in our products, so long as they tell us and that I've got the tools to make my own choice. Right? Really, really simple. So let's get into gut health and then we'll talk about...
Hey, Abby.
Yeah.
So I just put it on my phone. So I just downloaded it and it's got, so all the time you were talking, I was thinking about my girls and all the makeup they put on and all the stuff they put in their hair. Oh my God. So it's actually got cosmetic ingredients as a section there, as well as your food ingredients. Oh, I want to show my girls so they can just look after themselves.
Yeah, your makeup, your deodorants, fragrance. If you put fragrance in there, it won't work because it's a concoction of thousands of chemicals. But your moisturizers, your shampoos, your cosmetics, all of that stuff you do for cosmetic ingredients.
Yeah.
It's a one-time fee, and you've got the app for life. I think on iPhone it's $12.50. That's Australian. Android,
$7.49.
$7.49 for Android. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a fantastic app. It's an absolutely fantastic app. And for those of you that are in MLMs or in health, it's wonderful knowledge to share with your clients. So Leah, for what you're going through at the moment, this is just helping to open your mind to look at it from a different perspective. I'm about to get into weight loss for Stacca. Epilepsy, Jody. Yes, Leah, my dear.
So that's interesting that you said that, because with the MLM that I was in, we had a weight loss shake. And, people have had phenomenal results with the weight loss shake and everything. And in the beginning, I was doing very well with it, but then all of a sudden, I started having issues. And a holistic doctor that I talked to, based on what I'm going through, she told me, I have a lot of clients that have done that same shake and have ended up in the same situation that you're in. And I literally stopped doing the shake and found a vegan one. But, I had to really start looking at, even on the vegan side, what's in it, what the hidden things are that could cause it, even though they say it's vegan, but what's in it that could trigger symptoms that I have. So that was interesting that you said that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so then that's where you look at the chemicals, the preservatives. There are a number of products out there that are health products that are synthetic. And I know there's a number of, look at Stacey, she's like, there's a number of MLMs, and I'm not going to name them because I'm not into naming and shaming other people's companies. But there's a couple of, cosmetic MLMs, and they say the same thing, because that's what, and it's not the people that are selling it that's at fault, because their company says to them, this is derived from nature, this is natural. And then, because I'm all for supporting small business. I love network marketing, affiliate marketing, and MLMs. Like, that's where I get a whole heap of my stuff from, because it's made with love. It's made for a purpose. It's not made out of mass production, but there are a few companies that do certain products that I've run through the chemical maze and I won't. And it's a really hard position when you're someone's friend trying to support them, saying, sorry, I don't want to. It happened with my sister. She went to join a cosmetic company and I said, I'm really sorry, but I won't be I will actually give you money to support you, but I won't be buying your products. And, it was really, really difficult. Yeah, 4 p.m. Cool, Stacey. So, I just need to take a 5-minute break because she's done a poo. So can you guys either chat amongst yourself, but Mum, I'd really like you if you could, because I'm not going to sell you a detox. Okay? I'm not going to do that. I just want to talk to you about gut health. But Mum did a specific system that I used as well. Mum, I'm wondering if you can talk to people about the change that you felt in your body, but also your mindset by rebooting your gut. And that will be a really great entry for me to talk about gut health as your engine and why you had those feelings. If you could just tell everyone your experience, and then that'll be a really good lead-in for me to focus on gut health.
Yep.
I'm going to change it.
It was 12 months ago, it would have been nearly 12 months ago, last June. Abby started to hear about the Inner Origin platform, which is a health and wellness business. And I'm 53, so I was overweight, I was emotional, I had a lot of heartburn, that was probably the biggest problem. Didn't matter what I ate that I got heartburn. So she said to me, you need to do this detox. And I said, oh, okay. So, over a course of weeks, it happened straight away. I wanted to find out a bit more about it. And it was Dr. Sandra Cabot, 21-day trio detox. So after a fair bit of talking from Abby, and I just thought it was my age. I thought it was menopause. I just thought it was the way it was. So, you know, and I was completely blind to all the different things in our foods and all this sort of stuff. So she got me on this detox, and I started it. So the first day it's not a shake, it's a drink. You have a drink in the morning with your brekkie. It's not designed to make you go hungry. You have a fair decent breakfast. You can have morning tea, and then at lunchtime you have another drink. The first one's a superfood that you have in the morning. The second one is a gut health, and the one at night you have before bed is a cleanse and alkaline. So I started on this, and I felt really tired too. Like I just felt that I was just dragging myself around, and I thought, yeah, this is menopause, and I should be over it, but I'm not. So, and they said on about the 7th day you'd feel a difference. So I started it, and on the 3rd day I felt like I had, compared to what I was, I felt like I had a V8 engine installed. The detox didn't make me feel unwell. I was going to the toilet a lot for both ends, like urinating and getting rid of the bowel stuff. I slept like you wouldn't believe. The food tasted different. The food actually tasted nice because on the detox it's all lean and clean. So a lot of fresh fruit, veggies, you know, good yogurts. One thing that you do is have in the morning, the first thing, a glass of water with some lemon juice in it. I do that religiously all the time now, so that's a natural detoxer. But yeah, I was sleeping better. The food tasted different. The emotional, I was still for the first probably 8 to 10 days, still quite emotional. But that started to deteriorate. My skin changed. I had no heartburn, which was magnificent because I used to get that all the time. And I lost it, and I didn't do it for weight loss. I did it to make myself feel better. And I think I lost somewhere between, I didn't actually get on the scales before I started because I wasn't going to. And I think I lost somewhere between 4 and 6 kilos in that 21 days. So the transformation for me was huge. And I still carry on to this day, not as religiously, but as soon as you eat something that's not right, you know, your body tells you straight away. But the other thing is, I had to get rid of all my chemicals. And, hello, Abby's having a field day with me. Had to get rid of all my chemicals and fragrances as well. So for me, it was a transformation, and I'm actually doing the detox again now. So I've just started to do another one. So for me, it was, I've lost probably somewhere between 10 and 12 kilos since I started, and it's just plateaued out now. So, that was my story. So I'd recommend it to anyone if they want to, I guess it just totally, they say with heartburn, it's a leaky gut. So I guess detoxing my body got rid of that, so I don't get the heartburn. But if I do get heartburn, I know I've eaten something that I shouldn't have. And it's when you're in your own home, it's pretty easy. Although it's pretty easy when you go out, but if you're visiting people and staying with people, that's where it becomes harder. So I can't recommend the detox to do a detox enough. It was life changing for me.
So how many days is a detox though? Is it like weeks, or is it just like couple of days?
It was 21 days, Letitia. Yeah. So it was a 21-day detox. But what it actually does is it educates you along the way on what you should be eating and what's in your foods. And you don't look for those carbs. Like once your body has detoxed, you don't look to go for, the cakes and the biscuits and the fatty foods and stuff. It's sort of like, it's a whole transformation. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes, I feel like a packet of chips or stuff like that. But it does change your whole outlook, on what you're eating and what you're putting in your mouth. So,
yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You find that vegetables have taste again too, don't you? When you start cleaning up your diet, you're just like, I didn't know that capsicum actually tasted good. Like, it's got a taste.
It was cherry tomatoes. cherry tomatoes that did it for me. I thought, oh, these taste beautiful. And when in the detox with the vegetables, you can have as many different vegetables as you like, and they just sprinkled olive oil and a little bit of, I can't remember, Abby, what else we put on it, but it was next to nothing.
Yeah.
And it was so easy. Yeah.
And the other thing, I'm not trying to get Mum to sell you a detox, but it sounds like I'm going to talk about what Mum's body went through to create those changes. But when you start eating real food, when you start eating food without the chemicals, without the preservatives, it just tastes different. When people come to my house, and I might make them something really simple like a curry, and they're like, wow, can I have the recipe? I'm like, yeah, here you go. They take it, they make it, and they're like, it doesn't taste the same. I'm like, because you used not real food. You went and bought tomatoes or coconut milk from the supermarket, and it's probably only 70% of what you think you're getting, and then it's watered down, and then it's full of preservatives and chemicals to bulk it out so that, you know, it lines people's pockets. It's cheaper to make than putting the real food in there, and it lasts longer. Linda, it will be coming to Canada, the system that I'm going to tell you about. But today I actually came on here to educate you.
What about the U.S.? Is it in the U.S. too? Oh, okay.
So I think it's in Origin's going to be in the US maybe round about next year. So this is the system that I use, and it might be earlier. We're launching in New Zealand. It might be. This is the system, and the reason I use it is because it gets delivered to my home. The label stuff's already been done. It's not like one of these pretend organic, natural, you know. And I save time, so I don't have to go to the freaking supermarket. And I save money, because when you start buying products without the fillers, without the chemicals, it lasts longer. So my kids and I, we all use the same wash and moisturizer. Now, that cost me, I think, $40, but we've had that for 6 months. We're still going, because we only need a tiny bit, because it's so highly concentrated, because it's not watered down. My old body wash used to last me 2 months and cost me $12. You know, so I save about $100 to $150 a month myself as a single mum.
I mean, with the detox, like, you can start doing things now, like just lemon juice in the water of a morning, and just putting lemon juice on your veggies. I have quite often do that. I roast my veggies or steam them, and I just put lemon juice. You can start doing lots of little things. You don't necessarily have to go through the full thing, because the Dr. Sandra Cabot, she's sort of changed her stuff now, hasn't she, Abby? So
she's put it on a different platform.
And is this something that you can give to the children too, like let them do a 21-day detox, or is that too harsh?
I reckon that they recommend to be about 15. There's other things that you can do for your kids.
Okay.
So I give my kids, so really simple, Letitia, when you remove the chemicals from your home, your body will start detoxing them, and you can give it a little bit of a shove with like lemon in water, and Stacey will be able to tell you about that. Give them a really good prebiotic and probiotic. My kids eat my cleaner because it's a probiotic. I'll tell you about that in a second. But a really good prebiotic and a probiotic, which helps their gut health stay same. But I can jump on the phone to you and tell you different little things that you can do. But if there's little recipes in there to help detox your kids' system as well. You can get really gentle recipes, little drinks and things to remove the chemicals from their system. Because what happens, and this is that we store chemicals, right? And it's really hard. You go to a supermarket and they clean with bleach, you breathe it in. You get into a new car, you know that new car smell? It's a fragrance, right? It's 4,000 chemicals. You're like, oh, that's lovely new car smell. Those freaking little trees. Like,
Oh, I hate those trees.
I know. I'm like, it makes me sick. Anyway, bicarbonate soda and lemon juice and vinegar. Perfect, Sabrina, and that's all you need. I've got a probiotic cleaner that I use, and I sometimes use same as Davina, which is bicarbonate soda, lemon juice, and vinegar. I'm quite lazy, so I don't like making my own concoctions. Like I'm busy and I'm lazy, so I like to buy things already done for me. So I use a probiotic cleaner, and it literally just eats everything like the way the world used to clean itself before we put time and money on it. It just eats dirt, it eats mold, it's just amazing. It's fun, it's fantastic. Yeah, no worries, Letitia. So when you start removing the chemicals from your system, and if you need another push to decide to do that, your gut, right? is your engine. Your gut is your engine, okay? And just like a car, your car's engine, if your car's engine isn't working properly, nothing's going to work properly. It's going to spit, it's going to fart, it's going to fire, things are going to start breaking down. You don't put crap into your car's engine. So why do we put crap into our engine? Our gut is responsible for the workings of everything in our body. If our gut isn't working properly, our brain doesn't have a chance to work properly. Our emotions, our hormones are out of whack. So Mum, you know, she talks about her depression and her moodiness. My God, she woke up on like day 10 of rebooting her gut. So this is why I put her on this, because to be honest, my mum was almost unmanageable. I was like, you're just horrible. I love you, Mum, but I'm like, I just can't deal with you. I cannot. Like, didn't we? We used to just like this. And I'm like, it got to the point where I was like, for God's sake, you reboot your gut and get your mind and your hormones balanced, or I'm going to kill you. Right? So on day 10, I said to Mum, oh, Mum, you're such a different person. She was happy. She was balanced. And my mum had a habit, if you'd give her a compliment, she'd like pull out all the things that she was bad at. She went, I'm right? And all of a sudden, Mum was level-headed. Other people's problems weren't getting to her because her gut was okay, so her emotions and her brain had a chance to level out and balance out and work. And I was like, Mum, you're a whole different person. And I waited for her to be like, oh, yeah, but this is wrong and this is and to create drama out of nothing, because, you know, and she's like, I know, right? And I was stuck because I was like, I don't know what to say. I don't have to pick you up off the floor all of a sudden. Like, you know, and the reason that this happened was because, and I think that, you know, and this is just me, but when it comes to depression, when it comes to some of the ailments, I think a lot of it comes back to gut health. If your skin isn't working properly, if it's dry, if it's reboot your gut and see what it does and find out what systems are left after that. When it comes to people feeling down, I think that gut health and sugar has a lot to answer for. Okay, I know, like Dr. Namchung, there are people that are managing cancer and by focusing on their gut health. Okay, and I can go into those stories privately with you. I don't want to do it in a recording session if you want some of those stories, but your gut is your engine. If you do not allow your engine to work properly, nothing is going to work properly. If we keep putting these chemicals into our guts, we're going to make ourselves sick. So that cloudy thinking that we get, does anyone have cloudy thinking? Like where your head's like this, and that goes away when you reboot your gut. So rebooting your gut is like literally just getting all the chemicals back in harmony, back in balance. See, if you've got really bad bacteria in your gut that travels through your blood system, it can break your blood-brain barrier. Those chemicals go into your brain, okay, and that's where you get that like heavy head, that foggy thinking. It inflames your brain. Having bad gut health, those bacteria causes inflammation in your brain. It causes inflammation in your limbs, in your joints. Okay, your skin, it gives skin problems. It's gut health, you know, conditions in kids. So we used to look at gut health for kids that were diagnosed with ADHD, with all sorts of things. So if you've got someone in your family, that'd just be really interesting to just research a little bit about gut health and how it can relate to what you've got.
One thing, Abby, can I just say something? Talking about inflammation, and this is a bit gross, but I had ingrown toenails on my big toes, and they used to cause me a bit of grief. And it was about 3 months after I did the detox, I finally thought, oh, my big toes, my ingrown toenails don't hurt anymore. So since I've done the detox, that hasn't been a problem. So, I mean, I wouldn't have believed it if it didn't happen, but it did. So there you go.
And it's bad bacteria from your gut. So it's literally just rebalancing your gut, rebalancing the pH in your gut. Dr. Ross Walker, he's the leading heart surgeon in Australia. I got to speak to him last year, and he said to me, Abby, when people come to me with heart problems, I don't even look at their hearts until I fix their gut. Their gut direction. Yeah?
Because the sugar basically causes your liver to dump bad fats into the bloodstream. So hence the weight gain.
Absolutely. Oh, and while we're on weight gain, right, you guys are going to love this because we're going to talk about sugar.
Abby, do you recommend that if before, because I was thinking about starting to work out again and lose all this baby weight, do you recommend a detox first before I decide to go on like an extensive, workout series and stuff like that? Because it was one point in my life where I lost like 50 pounds. I was, got to a good weight. And then I gained it all back, because once you eliminate the exercising or limits down, it's like your body just goes back to normal size. Yeah.
And do you know what? And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it does. But I do it together. If you rebeat your gut, if you balance the pH in your gut, you will wake up one day and you will just have clarity and energy. Seriously, you will, because all the chemicals, all the bacteria, all the hormones and everything balances in your body, and all of a sudden you've got newfound energy. So exercise becomes easier. I mean, exercise, if it's not something that you do every day, you still have to stick at it every 66 days so that it becomes a habit. Okay, because what happens at the moment, you haven't been exercising, right? So what happens is your brain likes to be asleep. So if you're doing something that you do every day, I'm straying now. And we put little pads on your scalp to show your brain. Your brain's like really lazy. If your brain could sit around watching the footy and eating Cheetos, that's what it would do. It doesn't like to use energy. It's primal. It's got to conserve it in case you come across a saber-toothed tiger and it's got to run. And that's why it tries to tell you to be scared when new challenges happen or you try and do something outside of your scope. It doesn't want you to. It wants to conserve energy. So that's where fear comes in, right? So if we put a brain scanner on you, it would be asleep, right? If you haven't been exercising every day for the last 66 days, and I started to talk to you about exercise and you started to think about exercise or act on exercise, your brain would go like this and it'd wake up because it's not used to it, right? And this is why it's so difficult to create a new habit, because your brain wants you to be asleep. It doesn't want to wake up. It doesn't like it. It wants you to travel the same way to work every day. It wants you to have the same conversation. Okay, so but after 66 days of doing that thing becomes a normal thing, no different to eating breakfast, going to the toilet. So all of a sudden you start exercising, going to the gym, and you almost forget that you're even there. It's like when you drive to work and you're like, how the hell did I get to work? You go the same way every day and you're like, can't even remember getting here. Your brain didn't have to wake up because you're so used to it. If you do something every day for 66 days, your brain will then be like that. So that's why you go, I'm going to the gym. After 66 days and you're like, it's just easy, it's normal, you go. I can't even remember what I bloody did there, because it's a habit. It becomes normal for your brain. Your brain can stay asleep through it. But when you reboot your gut, you will have a whole new set. The energy that is just, because if you can imagine your body full of chemicals that you've stored over, how old are you guys? 30, 40, 50 years, and then put in that whatever's been passed on to you from your parents when you were in utero. There's a lot of chemicals to get rid of. So if you can imagine when that comes out, and look, it's got to come out of your poo, wee, or pores. Okay, so some people will get, like, Mum struggled because of, and I swear it was the bleach. It was the bleach. But once that had come out, just the level-mindedness, she was a whole new sense of happy. She had this energy, and this is the power of your gut. It's like fixing your engine. Now, there's a little chemical that I want to talk to you about. It's a chemical called an obesogen. I thought this one might be good for Stacey, but this is an interesting little chemical. People don't talk about this much. When I found out about this, I was like, the frick, are you serious? Right, so what an obesogen is, it's a chemical that's found in your perfumes, in your cleaning products, in your food, right? It goes into your body, all right? Your body doesn't recognize it, and it goes, I don't recognize you. You're unfamiliar. I don't like you, but it can't get rid of it on its own, so it stores it as far away as it can from your vital organs, because it recognizes that it's dangerous. So it stores it as far away from your vital organs, bellies, arms, legs. Okay, but it gets stored in your fat cells. And what it does is it mucks around with your lipid metabolism. It mucks around with your ability to shed fat cells, to lose weight. It inhibits it. So what happens when you reboot your gut? What happens when you stop putting obesogens into your body and you start removing them from your body? All of a sudden your body has the ability to rid itself of the obesogens, and once the obesogens are gone, you can then shed those fat cells. You can't, your body will find it very hard to burn the fat that those obesogens are stored in. Once you remove the obesogens, your body is more able to remove those fat cells. So this is why there's a lot of women that have got the bellies and the arms and the legs, and they're like, I just can't shift it. They might be doing all the exercise, they might be doing everything else, but they've got to get rid of the obesogens. They've got to reboot their gut. No, I'm like, why are people not telling us this? And it's because we're not holistic. We either focus on exercise, or we focus on diet, or we focus on, this is why we focus on the whole lot. Yeah? So obesogens, look it up. Obesogens, if you're struggling to lose, and Mum, that's what happened with you, didn't it? You carried a bit of a midsection with you for a shitload of time that you just couldn't get rid of. And then she did this, she rebooted her gut, her body got rid of the, she's removed, and Mum's done, she's removed the chemicals from her home too, although hearing about your perfume, you come there and kick your ass. My mum used to be a freaking walking perfume shop, right? It was gross. Okay, but her body was able to shed those obesogens. So Mum's arms, the belly, the bits that she couldn't get rid of that she used to blame on my sister. I didn't have these until I had you, Ashka. It was gone. And I used to sit there and go, it's not Ashka. It's what you're putting on your mouth and around your body. But I'm not going to tell you that because you're not going to listen. You're going to outwardly blame everyone else. Well, I'm being a hippie talking about multinational companies and pharmaceutical companies. You're blaming my little sister. And you know what? She used to get away with everything, so that was fine with me. I'm joking. So that's my hint for weight loss, obesogens. If you can just start, just really simple, remove the chemicals from your body, start detoxing, all right, start shedding the chemicals from you. I can give you a system if you're interested in the system. I can talk to you about it, but there's other things that you can do. You've got the chemical maze now, so make sure you don't go get anything synthetic or chemical filled. You can actually just detox your body using natural food. Okay, a gut reboot will just speed up the process for you, and dramatically. I did the same thing that Mum did, and I do a little detox every day. So I have the lemon and water. I have like a detox powder that's all food, and I have a bad superfood. Because I love superfood, and I'm like an Energizer bunny. I'm like, go. Before these calls, I have my superfood and I anchor, right? Yeah, cool. Okay, so that. So now, any questions on that? Any like, holy shit balls, McKenna? Oh, sorry, Leah. We've got a minister in our presence and I'm swearing.
No judgment. I'm good.
Zero judgment, zero consequences. Every time I do that, my mind goes to Leah. Even when I'm on my lives, I'm like, oh, I hope Leah's not watching this live. My beautiful friend Leah. So then when it comes to sugar, Stacey, I need to watch Stacey's. I'm going to share a presentation with you that I did about the impact of sugar on my children. I think that sugar, white refined sugar especially, that's hidden in our products, has a lot to answer for in people's health. Everything from cancer to depression to behavioural issues with kids at school. All right, the first thing we do when they say, I'm getting my child tested for ADHD is let's look at their lunchbox, number one. Yeah. Number two, if they've got an outlandish personality and you're quiet, it's just different personalities. So, not saying that ADHD isn't a thing. I'm just saying we often go and we prescribe medication for the symptom rather than actually finding the cause.
At the end of this.
You know, there's all these labels that go out. And so as an example, muesli bars. I used to have them in here, and then kids used to come around and find them, so I had to throw them out. I'll see if there is one. So I'm going to share a presentation with you guys that I did about sugar. All right, I'm going to talk a bit about it now, and then I'm going to share a presentation if you're interested in watching it. I think it goes for about 20 minutes, half an hour. But marketing companies are getting really clever because they realize that we know that sugar's not a good thing. Right? People that are depressed when they eat sugar, people that are depressed, I'm like, just don't eat sugar. Just don't eat it. Just don't go near it, right? Because you might not feel shit when you eat it. It might be 3 days later. But what sugar does is it gets in your system. It gives you this massive high. Your insulin comes in. And if you're eating a lot of it, if it's hidden, it takes out more than what there was. And sugar is detrimental for your gut health. Okay, sugar is a toxin. It is a cancer-causing toxin. It mucks with your gut health. It mucks with your brain. It mucks with your productivity, your behaviors. Hi, darling girl. The way you feel about yourself. And it's hidden in freaking everything. All right? It is not just in lollies and soft drink. Sugar is in milk. Sugar is in cereal. Sugar is in brought past the sources from the supermarket shelf. There is a thing in this presentation I'm going to give you called the bliss factor. Okay, and what I might do is touch on it. Oh, God. So Dr. Bliss, all right, he's a Harvard mathematician, and he was sent out to find out the optimum level of sugar to keep people addicted. All right, because sugar is addictive. And if you look at it, there is a bell curve. And you see, it's like if you have tea or coffee. All right, you like your coffee with a little bit of milk, a little bit more milk, a little bit more milk. Yep, that's perfect. That's how I like my coffee. More milk, I don't like it. More milk, I don't like it. More milk, I don't like it. That's what our taste buds are like with sugar. And it's addictive. So companies go out and use this formula, this bell curve, this optimum level. They call it the bliss factor. And they put it in milk. They put it in pasta and pasta sauces. They put it in everything. And you become addicted to sugar, and without knowing, you go back and you want more and you want more and you want more. It affects your gut. It affects your brain. I went to a Cancer Council fundraiser the other day, and I walked through the gates, and the very first stall there, because in Australia we have the greatest morning tea, which you go and you drink coffee and you have cupcakes. And I'm like, sugar, you are the Cancer Council. Sugar is the biggest known cancer-causing toxin. Why are you inviting the berry floss ban, the donut ban, and the ice cream ban? Why are you feeding people juice and icy poles at the end of each relay run? Then why do you have the people that sell the fragrance candles next to the ice cream van? And while you're at it, Australian government, why on your Healthy Heart Foundation and Cancer Council Foundation are you telling people to eat muesli bars and vegetable oil? Vegetable oil contains free radicals. I know the government makes a lot of money from it. I get that. You're recommending it to people. Okay, I'm subtly connecting some dots here for you all. Why are you putting muesli bars and cereal on the Cancer Council and the Healthy Heart Foundation? If you pick up a muesli bar, because see, marketers are getting really clever. They know that we sort of know that sugar's bad. We're not sure why, because we're not being told the full story. They've sort of worked out that they can't put sugar as an ingredient anymore. So they've got like a whole heap of 80 different words for it. Glucose, fructose, we're clever, right? We've worked out that anything ose is sugar. We've worked that out. They've gotten even more clever. they say things like malt syrup, like dextrin, all these other fancy words that we haven't picked up as sugar yet, right? And I've got those words for you in my presentation. You pick up a muesli bar, I wish I had one here to show you. Kids wrap all of those things. Oh, I'm getting Uncle Toby's healthy muesli bars. If you actually read that label, and this is what people put in kids' lunch boxes and people eat after the gym as a snack thinking it's healthy. If you read the label and understand, I picked one up the other day and there is 5 forms of sugar in one muesli bar. 5 forms, just under fancy names, right? Like glucose. Just all it is under fancy freaking names. They're all sugar, but they've changed the names. And then I did a conversion for this healthy muesli bar that is advertised on Australian television for children's lunch boxes. And there was 6.5 teaspoons of sugar in every single muesli bar.
I live near Uncle Toby's.
Burn them down. Stace, no, I'm joking. Stace, do you know how many teaspoons of sugar we're meant to have a day?
No, not off the top of my head.
No, I think I've got it in my presentation. I think it's only 2 or 3.
It's not very much. It's not very much.
Yeah, it's not much at all. We're only meant to have like 2 or 3, and this is 6.5 in one muesli bar. Now you add the milk, the pasta sauce, to everything else that you're buying for your family and your kids thinking you're doing the right thing, and you add up all your sugar throughout the day.
I make my own muesli bars.
Yes, exactly. Make everything your own. Yes. I worked out by feeding, if I was to feed my kids a recommended diet as what was advertised.
6 teaspoons, it says.
There you go, 6 teaspoons. And for kids, it's even less. Yes, sugar in bread.
Yeah.
I worked out if I was to feed my 3-year-old the diet that was recommended, that she would have an extra 21 teaspoons of white refined sugar in her diet every day.
Whoa.
Right? Now, and this is, I'm going to repeat myself. I'm going to give you like 4 teaspoons of sugar in 2 slices of bread. Okay, so Leah says when my hubby first went to infusion, they gave him his dextrose.
Oh.
It's interesting when your mind starts opening up and you start questioning. So when you think of kids, and this is in my presentation, where we like, how many people have said, oh, if you're really good, I'll give you an ice cream. If you just shut up in the supermarket and stop embarrassing mum, I'll buy you a chocolate on the way out, right? So then, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but then we feed them sugar. Sugar is like, have you seen what happens to the brain when they eat the bliss factor? I've got all of this in the presentation. I'm going to hear it twice, but it's so interesting. I've got all the visuals to go with it in the presentation. If you compared the brain of someone that just consumed the bliss factor, that certain amount of sugar, to someone who's had a high quality hit of cocaine, the same areas of the brain lights up, except in sugar, more powerful.
Oh, wow.
In sugar, the brain is more active. So giving kids sugar and yourself sugar is like, cocaine hit, right? And then what happens to druggies after they've had cocaine? Massive downer, right? Because you were so good in the supermarket, you have this chocolate. And then you get them home and then what are they doing? Because you just gave them sugar, that's why. And then you're like, oh, you're so naughty. I just gave you this treat and now you're bouncing off the walls, and then they get in trouble because of the effect of the treat that you gave them for being good, right? Like, what messages are we sending? You know what I mean? And then they're a disheveled mess. You know, and it's the same with us. This is why I say I think sugar has a lot to answer for. If it has the same impact, if it lights up the same areas of our brain as a high quality shot of cocaine, and all of these graphics are in there. Why, you know, people that have been diagnosed with depression, people that have been diagnosed with other mental illnesses. Why is there the first port of call not remove sugar? Yes, the sugar's going to make you feel good, but then 3 days later when you come on your countdown, you know, anyway, this is just me. This is why I'm doing this privately, because I get very carried away. I'm like, I know. And someone said to my daughter the other day, Ayla said, can I have a chocolate? No, can I have a lollipop? Because one of her friends had a lollipop. And I was like, we don't have lollipops. And Ayla's really funny. Like, we walked past a lady getting ice cream out of the freezer the other day in the supermarket because I went in and I had to buy some apples. And Ayla's like, don't buy that. It's got sugar in it. And I'm like, shh. She's walking down the aisles going, Mum, that lady's going to eat sugar. It's going to hurt her belly and hurt her brain. I'm like, shh. Don't have milk in your coffee. It's inflammatory. Shh. But she said, can I have a lollipop? Because her friends have lollipops. And I said to her, oh, no, it's got sugar in it. And usually she's like, okay, it's got sugar in it. I won't have it. And she goes, but it's okay, Mum, if you have a little bit of sugar and then you drink lots of water after. And I was like, who's told you that? Water's great. Water's fantastic. That's not true. Oh, anyway. So I hope that this was really beneficial for you. So I suppose the homework I'm going to give you is I've got the chemical base to show you. I will also put some other little videos on sugar and food that I did a while ago. I will repost them in the academy if you guys are interested in watching them. By all means, take the resources to share. My little homework for you, if you want to, is to watch those presentations. To just do some scanning of your products. Just do some scanning of the chemicals in your products, and do some counting of the sugar that goes into your food, into your body. So 4 grams is 1 teaspoon. You're meant to have no more than 6 teaspoons a day, and I guarantee you that you can get that from fruit and vegetables anyway, let alone what we're adding. Oh, my other little thing, if you're wanting to lose weight, who has like milk coffee, like lattes and stuff?
No.
I told you this the other day. You're not listening to me. First of all, don't top them up with this almond milk thinking that it's okay.
I've changed to soy milk now. I don't have a lot.
Oh, that's no
Oh,
good.
apparently not. But it's organic coffee.
Yeah, the coffee's organic.
Yeah, I don't drink a lot of coffee anymore.
Stace will tell you when it comes to calorie intake, if you're worried about that, there's like 120 calories in each latte with your milk alone.
Yeah.
If you times that by 7, what's that? That's like
Too much.
A good time.
Calories.
Yeah. I don't drink much coffee anymore, Abby, so.
I'm going to talk to you about soy milk when I get off the phone. Anyway.
Oh, okay. Oh.
But there's like, so
In trouble again.
I care about you, Mum.
We want to keep you honest.
Yeah.
You're going to ruin that. So 120 calories in each latte, which works out if you have like 1 or 2 a day, that's between 1,000 and 1,500 calories. Stace, how many calories does the average woman need every day?
So the average woman only needs around 12 to 1,300.
Calories. So if you
I have like 1,700 if you do a lot of fitness.
Yeah.
But if you don't do a lot of exercise, 1,300, 1,500, depending on your height.
There you go. So 1 milk coffee every day is like a whole day's worth of eating over a week.
So then it's okay if I stretch it out all day?
Sorry, Leah?
It's okay if I stretch it out all day?
It's still over a day, Leah.
Take it out.
It if you can force yourself to have black coffee,
Yeah, you have to have black coffee.
out, that's like a whole extra day of eating that you've cut out in your week just by removing your coffee. Or make the almond milk. So at the start of this, I said almond milk 25%. So 1 part almonds to 4 parts water. Make your almond milk and use that.
So what other kind of milk would be good? Like for me, I'm allergic to tree nuts.
Oh, okay. Let me look into it because there's Stacey might have a.
Yeah, well, yeah, because mostly I use almond milk.
Is coconut a nut?
No, it's not the same.
You can
It's
do
not
coconut milk.
You can try coconut.
Okay. I'm not allergic to coconut.
Yeah.
What about the?
It's really thick, so you won't need a lot of it. I used to do coconut milk coffees, and they're like very luxuriously thick. I have bulletproof coffee sometimes, and I use coconut in that, and you don't need a lot because it's thick. You have a lot.
I was just going to say we could use the coconut milk.
Oh, good girl.
What about cashew milk? Because I'm not allergic to cashews either.
Yeah, any type of nut milk would be better.
Yeah. See, I don't drink any hot drinks, coffees, or anything, so I've never had an issue with it.
I
You
drink
do?
lots of black coffee.
Yeah, okay.
Lots. Mum, it's organic though, so it's okay. No, Mum, how do you find the coconut correct milk in your coffees? Because I know you started doing that.
Yeah, it's a different taste, but it's like anything once you get used to it, and if it's good for you. But I just thought I'd try a bit of soy milk for something different. So yeah, now I'm in trouble again. But I've got the coconut milk off the platform there that I use. So, and I've got a friend next door that's making her own almond milk, so I'll check that out too.
Yeah. Do that. It's so easy. All you need to make, and cashew milk's the same as almonds, so just get yourself some muslin. Put your, and you can get it off the internet, put your raw cashews in there, activate them by putting filtered water for 24 hours, and then just
me a lot of heartburn, so I think I'd steer away from that.
Yeah. Well, now the other thing is, what was I going to say? Oh, really fun.
Rice milk?
Rice milk, yeah.
Never thought about that.
Yeah, rice milk. And you can make your own brown rice milk.
Yeah, you can. I haven't actually done it, but then I don't drink any milk.
Oh. See, I used to drink a lot of Diet Coke Zero and Diet Coke. I don't drink any of that anymore.
Yeah, that isn't the same chemical in the Diet Coke is the same one that they use when you die to put into your body so the organs don't stink.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so they put it in through your system so the organs don't smell. So obviously when you go,
yeah,
they can carry your cast. And
well, I've cut the bleach out and the Diet and the Coke Zero, so I've done really well.
Yeah. I'm so proud.
that's good.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Just sneaking a coffee every now and again.
I'm a bulletproof coffee junkie. When I get my hands on bulletproof, I need to order some more because I'm out. I just love it. I love it. But it's the most natural coffee. It's amazing. Because does anyone get jitters from their coffee? Sometimes. The reason you get jitters, people say it's the caffeine. When they pick coffee, they leave it in the heat, in the tropics, in a big pile, and it's all moist under there, so the coffee down the bottom can get bacteria and stuff on it. So when you get the jitters from the coffee, it often means you've got a bad batch of the coffee from the bottom that's got bacteria that's been grown on it, and that's where the jitters come from. So that's why I get organic coffee or bulletproof coffee, because it's really clean. It's really clean. Plus, the way you make bulletproof has just got amazing healthy fats for your brain. So if I really need to kick through my day, and I know Rhonda does this as a daily thing, she has bulletproof every morning and then she doesn't eat till about 2 o'clock. But the way that you do it, there's a lot of fats, a lot of like all your nutrients come with it as well.
It is intermittent fasting, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I see. I find that
So
really
are you
hard.
putting
Pardon?
ghee in your coffee? Are you putting ghee in your coffee?
No. So, no, I'm not. I've got organic ghee there that I love. When I do Bulletproof, it comes with a bottle of amazing natural, you put coconut milk and you put this bottle of, it's got fats and fish oils and all sorts of fantastic things in it that just feed your brain and feed your system. So if you look up Bulletproof coffee, I can get
From
you
Bulletproof?
Bulletproof, yeah. I can get you in touch with a fella who's a Bulletproof guru, and he will talk to you and he will tell you everything that you need to know about Bulletproof. Nathan, he lives in Bali.
Do they do it in pods or just in granules?
I don't know. Because I do the whole, I don't get the coffee on its own, I get the whole system. Mine goes into the blender, and because you have to blend it, otherwise you get like that. Yeah, so I don't know. You can look it up on the internet, but if you do want any more information about Bulletproof, let me know. I'll get you onto Nathan. If you want more information about anything, you guys have got access to me. Just let me know in the academy, and I can answer all your questions. If I don't know the answers, I've got people like Stacey and other experts on chemical-free food and stuff that I can get onto you anyway. So,
Abby, with those obesogens, do they come in natural products or are they in chemical products that we put into our body?
you know what? I'm not overly sure.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that question. As I said before, there's chemicals in anything. Like if you get arsenic from an apple, it's still arsenic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just depends because they extract things and put them into things. But I do know that when our gut isn't working properly, our body will not remove the obesogens. And some people actually need to have certain supplements, so certain dietary things to be able to remove the obesogens because their bodies can't do it on their own.
Yeah.
Did you see that they had an ad a little while ago with an apple and they poured boiling water over top of the apple? Did you ever see that?
Wax.
Yeah, and if you pour boiling water over top of the apple from the supermarket, all of this wax and stuff comes off it and sits around the bottom of the apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they coated it.
Stop it from getting sunburned.
I'll tell you a story about fruit once I answer Leah's question. I'll do fruit. Yes, Leah, darling.
Oh, I didn't have a question. I was going to say I Googled obesogens, and there was an article that was in Shape magazine that listed like six of them, and it was showing like pesticides, BPA, which is like what they have in the plastic bottles, mercury, your hand sanitizers, soaps and toothpaste, and we were talking about the colognes and the shampoos and stuff, and something that's used as an antifungal, that I guess you find in household dust. So it looked like it was in a lot of stuff.
There you go. Thank you, Leah. Thank you. Legend.
Cool. just working out what to avoid. Because clearly my body is storing them. Because I'm a bit bigger than normal at the moment.
It's really hard to avoid it, and it's not until people know. It's not until people know. This is why I come out and I talk about this stuff, because it's not until, and then you've got the information there to take what you want, make your own decision. Some people will say, Abby, that's crap. My mum did for years. I'm not listening. You're a hippie. This is what my mum used to do. That's crap. That's crap.
When I say eat clean, people are like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? What do you eat then? That's what they say. What do you eat then? They don't know. They've got no idea. They just think, they have no idea what you eat. They think that you don't eat much just because you're eating clean.
Stacey, you're like me. You just eat real food.
Yeah, it is. It's just real food. They say weight loss isn't hard. Just eat real food.
Yeah.
It is hard because of how you've been trained for so long, but it's, you know what to do, but doing it's a whole nother thing.
That's it.
The toothpaste, Leah brought up about the toothpaste. I used to use Colgate and all that sort of stuff, and since we joined up with Inner Origin, I use the toothpaste off of there. Now, if I get caught and haven't got my own toothpaste, that supermarket toothpaste, my gums just come out in ulcers. So I guess that's part of the detox too. I've got rid of all that other stuff, and yeah.
Yes. There was a fella that after he did the detox, now I've got a food wash. So
I've got to go.
Bye, Mum, love you. My meat, my vegetables, my fruit. If I have to get them from the supermarket, I've got a food wash that I put on them that brings out some of the preservatives and stuff, gets rid of that wax. Because our fruit can be stored in cool rooms for up to a year before they're actually brought out into the shelves. That's like when we had our banana shortage and bananas were like the price of diamonds. I was like, why? Because you've got so many stored anyway in case this ever happened. Stop it. And they're like, there's a banana shortage because of the cyclone. No, there's not, because you're storing them in the back room. Stop it. Anyway, but I had a fella who did the detox, and it was really funny. And he called me and he said, so we did a whole system with him. Like we rebooted his gut. He went on like a maintenance program. He was a farmer, so he was like meat and 3 veg, bread and butter. You know, like his nutrition wasn't that bad, but he said to me, no, this hasn't worked for me, it's upset my body. I said, oh my goodness, what do you mean? And I said, the first few days can be quite difficult when you're rebooting your gut because your body is shedding chemicals. Like absolutely that can be hard. But this was like maybe 3 months after he'd first started, so he'd finished, his gut was great, he'd lost like 13 kilos, his shape was different, his skin was different. He said, well, 2 days ago I went to a restaurant and I tried to eat some bread and I felt terrible. It's ruined my body. And I was like, hang on a minute. Now that you've got rid of all of those chemicals, that's your body saying, I don't want that anymore. Stop putting things in it that your body doesn't want.
After the comp that I just did, I found the same thing. So because I ate clean for so long and I'd cleaned my diet up, and then I'm like, oh, I want to try this and I want to try that and I want to try this. And I had so many gut issues. My gut's knotted up. You're farting all the time. It just aches. Like your stomach aches. You put something into it and it just aches. And I was having all sorts of issues, and you just got to go back to basics.
Yeah. Basics, isn't it? It's like the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. Swap your tomatoes for some oranges. Just do things simply.
Yeah.
Although, see, I like yummy food too. Like, I'm happy to eat, but I'm not one of these people. I do some pretty fancy things with my food. Geez, I make a good curry, just so you know, because I'm into all my herbs and spices for my heart and my brain and everything. My nana was really funny. I'll leave you on this one. So my mum's mum, she was quite into her health, and she used to eat things like just those, like eat fish, it's good for your brain. Eat fish, it's got fats in it that will feed your brain. And she had all these different things. If you're seasick, have ginger. If you want a happy heart, put turmeric in your tea. You know, little things like this. The funniest thing, about a month before she passed on, she was going through all these things with me, and she said, and Abby, most importantly, wear cotton knickers because it lets you breathe. And I was like, dear old thing, most important piece of advice, she couldn't pass this world without telling me. Oh, so funny. All right, ladies, I have had you for 2 hours. I really hope that this was beneficial and it's just opened your world and made you think. I will put the presentations up on the page. What I'm also going to do is, Stace, do you want to, in that page, post your stuff so if the girls want to come across to your group as well? If anyone from the Academy wants to come across to your group. Because Stace is the same. She gives out tips, tricks, and hints, and does clean eating programs. Last night she had ladies on the internet and she was in her shed with and just doing like workouts that you can do around the home for half an hour. So she was doing things on chairs, and so she's a really cool person to be around and watch. I know, I love her. And she's in my academy, and she's on my vision board. You should see this woman in a bikini.
Well, it's changed a bit in the last 2 months.
Well, you come here, bub. So I really hope that helped. Yeah, I'll put those presentations up. Sorry, babe.
Will you share with us the detox?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if it is in America at the moment, but what I can do is I'll find out when it's coming. I will, because maybe I can get it for you and send it to you even.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just have to, because Mum took hers into Bali and whatever, because there's no chemicals in it or anything. So I might even be able to get it and send it to you if it's not available in America anywhere. But I'll check to see if it is, because you don't have to get it off my platform. If she's there, you might as well, yeah. But yes, I will, my darling. I'm just writing this down. I've got to do. What did you do with my pen? You've been here 2 seconds and you're destroying the joint. You might destroy it. Look at your nose. Let's go wipe your nose. Okay, so presentations, I'll put them up. Detox, I'll put that up. Stace will share her details in case you guys want some, just to join her group. And yeah, and then if you've got any questions, just put them in the academy. You guys are in there, and I'll source whatever experts I need for you. Awesome. Right. Much love, Leah. It was so beautiful seeing your lovely face again.
Thank you. You ladies too.
Yay. And this will be, the recording will go up too. So, right. Much love to you. Happy Thursday morning, Stacker. I'm going to call you too. Leah, have a beautiful sleep on this Wednesday evening. All right, guys. See ya. I don't get too much for you, dude.